What has your attic, your Christmas tree, and your sailboat got in common? Fiberglass. I wish I hadn't said that, but you got to start these things off somehow. Fiberglass is glass, but this isn't fiberglass. This is fiberglass reinforced plastic. It's a good example of a product that's used extensively in industry, and yet it's filtered down to us as sort of a general purpose repair material. The glass itself doesn't have any structural properties, but when you mix it with space-age plastic, it becomes a nice, lightweight, strong structural component. The two components of it are the plastic and the glass, but the glass comes in two different styles. One is cloth, and the other is a mat. Now, the strength is in the glass, not in the plastic. But, follow this, the mat takes more than its own weight to soak in plastic, and yet the cloth only takes its own weight in plastic to soak. So you figure out which is stronger. I'm confused. Fortunately, you usually don't have to make that decision because it depends on what kind of job you're doing, which you're going to use. The cloth is good for car auto body repair and covering up the bottom of that aluminum boat with all the leaky rivets. And the mat is more suitable for building up the floor in your rusty car trunk. There's a thing about the mat I've only just learned. Because of the way they make it, it's got a fluffy side and a not fluffy side, the FS and the NFS. When you're using it, if you have the fluffy side up and you go to brush in the plastic, it gets all over the place. If you have the fluffy side down, it gets less all over the place. To minimize the square area of body parts you're going to have to scratch for the next 2 weeks, it's a good idea to wear as much protective clothing as you can absolutely bear. Another misconception I had about fiberglass was it's a crummy adhesive. It needs a mechanical bond to hold on. That means no matter what you're doing with it, whatever you're going to put it on has to be roughed up so that it can get in there and hold. On car bodywork, punching little holes helps. It sticks okay on wood because wood is porous enough, as long as the wood is clean and dry. But I've learned from sad experience that fiberglassing a wooden boat to fix it kills it in about 2 years. So when you're putting it on wood, make sure you're not locking in moisture and trapping it. Another tip is on car body repair, if you feather the edge of your repair too much, that's where it will break the bond. Fiberglass is great for fixing anything that was made out of fiberglass in the first place, but it won't remelt down in there. You're still going to have to rough it up to get that mechanical bond. The plastic resins come in 1 or 2 different kinds, but you should be okay if you read the side of the can. One different kind fooled me once. If you have a cousin who works at a boat factory and offers to get you the resin cheap, don't touch it. The stuff the pros use is missing one ingredient that makes it work. They add it later. The stuff you buy in the store has this nasty accelerator built right in so that you don't have to handle it. I had a sneaky suspicion that this stuff must be like epoxy because after all it comes in 2 parts and you mix them together and it gets hard. Nope. The plastic is called a thermoset and it cures only because of heat. That has some interesting side effects. One is it cures a lot faster in lumps than it does in sheets. Where would I use a lump? Well, let me put it this way. If you use a tall, skinny can to mix the stuff, that's going to go hard a lot faster than the repair is, usually before you've finished the repair. A good rule of thumb is to only mix as much as you can use in about 15 or 20 minutes. That's Barry's golden rule. When you're trying to prorate the mixing instructions down to just a small amount, it often gets a little confusing, but it's worth the effort to mix it right. You can adjust it up or down about 20%, depending on the temperature. Can anyone think of a use for these things? I've got quite a few of them. The stuff you're putting in is methyl ethyl ketone peroxide. It's a catalyst to start the heating reaction. There's something you should know about it, though. It will oxidize, that's a very polite word for burn, anything it can get its little molecules on. It can start fires in wastebaskets, and guess what? It can even provide its own oxygen to keep the fire going. It can make you blind in 4 minutes, and it can oxidize your stomach lining. The problem with safety warnings is too many products have them. I wouldn't be surprised if lumber said, harmful if taken internally. Heed the warnings on this stuff, though, and only keep it in small bottles and in a very safe place. I'm going to get in trouble for this, too, but acetone, the cleanup solvent, is right off my list of safe things to have at home, so I just throw out the can and the brush. Oh, the Christmas tree? That's that angel hair stuff, and that's where fiberglass all started. And it ain't a fit night out for a man Ner beast.